Welcome back. You are still watching Morning Live, a third and final look at your sport news this morning. Now, South African cricket teams have been on the wrong end of results and finals in recent times, but we are making some steady progress in cricket. To reflect on how we have fared in recent times, we've roped in the CSA Director of Cricket, Enoch Nkwe. A very, very good morning to you, Enoch. Thank you so much for always making time for us. Welcome to Sports on Morning Live.
Good morning. Yeah, thanks for the invitation.
And look, I want to start our discussion and just speak to the Under-19 Women's T20 Cricket World Cup, where we saw the young Proteas making it to the final and eventually being defeated by the defending champions in India. What would you say are the big takeaways after having looked at the run of the girls going into the Super 6 round, going into the semi-finals, and finally how they did in that final?
Yeah, I must say, obviously, I mean, it's in terms of the outcome of the finals, that's pretty disappointing, but we were extremely proud of the team and the management in terms of how they've gone about their business in this entire World Cup, but also, the last sort of 18 months preparation. There's been some good work behind the scenes, really, to mold this team and get it to a point where they can play and perform consistently, and they show that. I mean, they were unbeaten up until the finals, and yeah, you're up against a very strong Indian team that also has been together for a number of years, playing a lot of cricket. And I mean, the Asia Cup obviously did help them prepare them even a lot better for especially to if they had to find themselves in a situation of a final. A lot of them would have experienced what it's been like, to be in a final before, where our ladies have never been in a final. And so it is one thing that we're going to take forward, especially with a lot of them coming back for the next World Cup. They're going to make sure, obviously, that, they learn from this experience. But one thing we can say from our side is that, we're extremely proud of them because they've built a new DNA and that belief that they can actually do it.
Indeed, and perhaps, Enoch, we can then speak to how big would you say women's cricket is at school level, because we can only just assume the type of heavy scouting Edward Koz's team has to do to find these gems and then get them into that high performance program to get them ready for something as big as the Under-19 T20 Women's World Cup.
Yeah, there's still obviously a lot of work that still needs to be done. There's been some good work, I must say, over the last couple of years from a pipeline point of view, working with the hubs, working with the clubs, and obviously school cricket now. And I mean, the 2003 World Cup did bring in some new energy, especially at school level, because we do have quite a lot of schools across the board nationally that are showing a lot more interest, especially when it comes to girls cricket. So there's clear intention in terms of growing girls cricket when it comes to school cricket. So we have great programs in place, but obviously now the game when it comes to schools, it is slowly growing, and the performance of the under-19 girls now, I mean, that's gonna attract even more and more girls, at school level, to want them to obviously to be part of this, this pipeline of women's cricket moving forward. Because unlike before, where there was never a World Cup for the under-19 girls, now there is. So there is something to play for, even at school level. In building up obviously to the Proteas and professional cricket. So yeah, in years to come, we see the game actually growing larger and larger at schools.
And something else that we saw with this under-19 team was that it looked very representative of what we look like as a nation. Speak to me about that, because it looks like a very transformed team. Was that also just something that was top of mind for CSA, to say we want a team that reflects what we look like as a country?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It is our one of our imperatives. It is a priority from a Cricket South Africa point of view to ensure that that we continue to grow the sport in all corners of South Africa. So, and it was so good to see, obviously, over the last couple of years, having different cricketers from different backgrounds, coming through and really believing in themselves that they can actually compete. I mean, some of them already are playing professionally in their respective provinces, and they perform, and then against the senior women's team at professional level, which goes to show in terms of the foundation and the structures that are actually in place to ensure that these young cricketers, they drive that confidence and believe in themselves, and they can be better, obviously prepared for bigger tournaments. So yeah, it is something that we continue to work on, because we want to make sure that, as part of our responsibility, that we put out a well-transformed team, out on the park to play against the best in the world.
And I just want to move our conversation a little bit from women's cricket. I want to speak to the Champions Trophy coming up in Pakistan shortly. Rob Walters' team in limited overs cricket. What are your expectations going into that one?
Yeah, look, as much as, we have a long-term sort of plan, a big picture in terms of Cricket World Cup 2027, but we do understand that in every year we have an opportunity with the ICC events to really do something special for our country and for our cricketing ecosystem. So every ICC event, whether it's men or women that we compete in, we really want to give ourselves the best chance of actually winning it. So yes, the goal obviously it is to go out there and win. And if we don't, we look at areas that we can actually grow and become better, and to ensure that it speaks in line with our 2027 plan. Cricket World Cup 2027 plan, because that is for us that a must win, the fact that we're gonna be hosting it. So that is something that we want to do it. But obviously leading up to that, would like to actually do something special for our country.
Enoch, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure chatting to you. That is Enoch Nkwe, the Cricket South Africa Director of Cricket, just talking about that under-19 Women's T20 World Cup, where we saw South Africa make it all the way to the final unbeaten, but eventually they stumbled against the defending champions, India.